What is going on, everybody? So today we're gonna be doing some engine work today to this thing. This right here is the 2000 Accord. What we're doing today, getting back on topic, is a couple of things. We need to do the valve cover gasket. Valve cover gaskets, I found them, especially around the back here. They were leaking, especially as the car was running. I put fresh oil in this thing, turned it on, ran, and we saw fresh oil leak out the back. Right about the valve cover gaskets, which is what the last owner said he replaced. So it gives me confidence with the rest of the car. Next we're going to do the intake manifold gasket. So the gasket that this goes onto, we're going to replace that. We're going to place the throttle body gasket, and you see right here on the, not the sock, but whatever this part's called, the intake hose, got a little cut there. I mentioned that before in the last video. If you guys didn't see the last video, I can't really blame you. It was kind of boring, but it's just something I needed to introduce to you guys. But that right there has a cut in it, so we're going to replace that as well. And yeah, and some of the tube seals. Let's get started, I guess, with working on this thing. So first thing you need to do is remove the plastic coverings on it. It's always really good to work with gloves. So after we take all that off, now it's time to take off the airbox. To remove the airbox, you got some 8mm bolts right there, right there, right there, right there. Just a couple of those. I'll remove those real quick. 8mm. I know it's hard to see from this camera angle, but I've recently been, gosh, you probably use a screwdriver too. Been using a new editing software, but I'm trying something new today with the video. Last week was kind of a boring video, so you guys didn't see that. You guys didn't see that. That's okay. You don't really have to. That video was just talking about like the overview of this car, like what it needs and what my plans with it are. But it's also very, I guess, boring when it comes to editing, just because I'm starting to use a new software. I was using the iMovie stuff the new software I've been using is Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a way more complicated software than iMovie, by a long shot. So I had to spend time figuring out how that worked and everything. So the video was kind of like a low budget video for that one reason. So this box here, after you get it off, you could just kind of, it's just a spring here. So you should just be able to pry it right off, just like that. We're gonna set that aside here. Your air filter, same thing with that. Pull that off to the side. Now it's time to work on the next part, which is the air hose. So after we get that out, now we're going to remove this thing. This thing is easy. Just get a Phillips head screwdriver and kind of just loosen it right here. So here's the air intake hose. We're actually going to replace this. Alright, so next you got your throttle body here. So after you take out the air box and the air hose, you're left with the throttle body. There you go. So it works. We got a bolt here, we got a bolt here, and we've got two bolts near the bottom. Right there, and then another one in the same position somewhere down in there. So we're going to take those 4 bolts off, and this part should just slide off, and we're going to push this off to the side. It is hot outside today, y'all. Alright, so we're going to unplug this one. This old gasket here is super brittle, but we're going to let that sit there. I'll show you guys a better view of it. Got some oil leak coming on the inside here. That's no bueno. So now it's time for the actual intake. Intake has, let me show you on the other. Time to take off the intake. We got a bunch of 10mm bolts here going along the side. We also got some things connected to it. So we're going to get those things out of the way. These should all be 10mm. Wow, I could not have been so wrong. Millimeter on the ratchet, and we're going to take these off. Also looks like there's a slight gasket on this, or a little washer on these bolts here. And this part should zip. The whole wire and assembly and everything should come up. Flip that over. Okay. Now same thing on the rear. Let's see if this thing is ready to come up. I'll take out this bolt right here. That one bolt could single-handedly be holding us back from our dreams. So this is a V-shaped motor. No surprise, V6. The valve cover gasket on the Saturn only took me, I don't know, 20 minutes. I didn't have to remove the whole intake. Typically on 6-cylinder engines, the intake's going to be on the top. Whereas on 4-cylinder, it's going to be on the side. But here, on a V engine, both sides are taken by the exhaust manifold, or the exhaust. So, and if it was just one bolt, I'd be mad. I guess I should be happy that I figured it out. What? Are you kidding me? But you look back here on the intake. Got a bolt right here holding this stuff in. We gotta take that stuff out. Make sure you take out that connection. Did that already. And there's another plug right here. You take right below it, right there. We want to take out loose too. So yeah. All right, so we're taking this thing off. Okay, so I guess we can't take this part off. So let's stick this bolt back in here. That one. That's the last one. Boom! Oh my gosh! We have the old intake off. I would say that was way more difficult than it should have been. I just took my gloves off and my hands are like so sweaty. That is nasty. I think I'd rather have my hands get dirty. Alright, well, now we have taken this part off. There's, right here is a metal gasket. I'm going to be replacing this gasket, so you could just throw that in the trash. But now, boy, can you guys get a view of that? It's hard to see, the sun's like directly above the camera. The camera's working overtime, y'all. I want to try to cram this into a 15-minute video. Right now we're recording, we're already at like 30 or something. So I try to cram all. Where's my 10 at? Oh my goodness. The memes. They're more realistic as it seems. Okay guys, so I got it for the spark plugs. I'm using an H6. Just like that. Not spark plugs, I lied to you guys. This is a coil packs. So these bolts aren't supposed to be tight. They're just only here to hold the coil packs in place. And here's a big thing with coil packs. I want to make sure everyone understands this. Coil packs, kind of autistic, right? Like this right here is cylinder 1, or maybe it's cylinder 2, either or. This coil pack doesn't go over here, it doesn't go here, this coil pack doesn't go on the back. It goes right here, nowhere else but here. So coil packs are kind of smart, but slightly autistic. They're smart because they know exactly what cylinder it should be in, and from there it knows how to work well in that space. But if you were to move the coil pack, like this coil pack, even though this one looks identical, nasty, but identical to the one over here, just because it fits over there doesn't mean it belongs over there. So when you're replacing when you're taking the coil packs out, I always like put the old screw back in it just so I don't lose it. But you want to set it down to where you will know for sure it belongs right there. You know, I am working on the ground here. I had the intake upside down just so we don't get stuff inside the little ports there. Throttle body is on the right hand side when it goes in the engine. I want to lay them down facing that way and facing that way on top of it just so I know where they'll go. Because if you put your coil packs in the wrong space, your car will not run right. Another thing is, when you have your engine open like this, make sure nothing gets inside of there. Maybe some throttle body cleaner maybe. Well, this is it. Guys, God does amazing things. I found it. Ooh, okay, yeah, so this is what we are trying to fix. This one got some oil on it. It's not this is where the electrical circuit goes. It shouldn't have oil on it. That is a no-go. No-go, no-go. No-go, bo-go. Okay. Next. Now it's time to take off the valve covers. You know, finally, the thing we've all been waiting for. So, I start taking out these. These are the screws that go on the valve head. Let me just set them up out of the way for a minute. So you want to work at, so a V6 has two heads. If you draw like the V on the screen, I'll put it on the screen in front of you guys. Actually, I'll probably put a picture if I can of an actual V cylinder engine side profile of it. Looks like a V. All your bolts off. Your valve cover should, and I mean should because this car so far has been weird, should come up. Okay, just what I expected. More problems. This thing's not coming up right. So you want to be gentle. Ugh. Okay, I want to flip it up. Ta-da! So just because we couldn't get that hose disconnected, I'm just going to flip this up like that. This right here is valve train. This camera ran out of storage. I'm about to take a break in a minute anyways, but yeah, so this side right here is your exhaust, this side's your intake. Yeah, so we're gonna get the valve off, but before I do that, I'm gonna go and take a quick break, get some water, because about an hour into this and I'm dying. So one moment. So, fresh batteries have been installed, SD cards have been cleared, and now I got some water to drink. Nice, cool water. So, now I had to put all the work to rest. Here, I use the other camera. So, when I went inside, I put a trash bag over here just because the guy over there decided to mow his grass. But he's done now. And I didn't get anything on here, which is great. See, like a bunch of grass underneath. I did take it off, but then I just put it back on when I put the trash bag on. So we're gonna take that back off now. Change out the valve cover, gasket, and I'm gonna continue where we left off, I guess. So, pick up to where we left off. I'm gonna sunburn after this. I know that. Pick this up. Flip it over. So the gasket we got going on here, you guys can see it, barely. So see the gasket that we got going on here. It's one of these like Rubbermaid gaskets. Got a lot of bees out, but it's fine. Yeah, so we're going to take this one off. So there's a little, little tab piece there. You just kind of pick it up and pour the whole thing out. Actually, this is really easy to do, so I'm doing this one hand. Trying to do this without. It's me being stupid. I went to go get my screwdriver, left it on my Saturn, and left the window down on it all night. Someone to take my stuff. So when you're trying to pull this this gasket out of here. Yeah, when you're trying to pull these like rings out of here, make sure you get like a really thin flathead. You don't want to like gouge into the metal. Don't mess it up. That right there will cause leaks. So remember that thing I said, I don't know, probably a couple minutes ago, that we got to be gentle with it. Well, yeah, being gentle isn't really working anymore. So I grabbed a hammer. There we go. This progress. Look at that. Like a dream. Let's see what what's the damage to it. Okay. Good news. Not a lot of damage. Bad news, there is slight damage. Sweet, so we got everything out, just like we're supposed to. Next thing we're gonna do is get this part. We got this thing, got a lot of crud on it. I don't like crud. It rhymes with rud, and that just doesn't make any sense. So we're going to clean this. Just getting a cloth. It doesn't have any like hard parts on it, so I'm just getting a cloth. And I'm just running along the lines of the So after you had cleaned the entire surface, time for the new gasket. Here's the new gasket. So you want to kind of lay it out for its shape. Kind of like that. There we go. I'm going to lay the shape out. This little piece right here though, you want to have it stick to the outside. When you want to put these on, you want to get some oil on your hands or fingers. That's actually dry as crap. That's a problem. You want to get some oil from inside. Screw oil, and you kind of want to just rub oil on the outside. If you have like fresh oil or something, that might work better. But after you get it covered in oil, it will make it way easier to snap in. So when you put it in, make sure you don't put it in as even as possible when you space them in there. I actually used a 27 socket to help me Put it on there, beat it down, put it on nice and even. Exactly what you want. New gasket on here. Came out a little bit. Got the gasket on, nice and even. Now we're going to carefully pick it up, flip it over, put it back, and rehab it, mount back to the valve head. Okay, so what you want to do, just like anything on a car, when you're tightening things, you want to tighten it inside out. So I'm going to do this one first, then that one, then that one, then this one, then that one. That's how I'm going to tighten it up so it's nice and even. I also want to be pretty consistent with how you're tightening it up. 9 foot-pounds, so right now I'm tightening it all the way down as much as I can with my hand. Now you want to tighten them down to about 10 foot-pounds. So 10 foot-pounds, if you're holding a ratchet right on top of the head, tighten it this way. Don't have your hand lower down. Keep it up here. If it gets too tight, you're good. Do a slight tug now. There you go. Now that is one side of the engine. We're about halfway done now. So double check, make sure valve cover ain't pinching and coming out. Nope, we boys and girls, we got ourselves a job. So we're at the halfway point. It's not a job well done yet. Gotta do the other side. Look at it, so I'm back. Just finished doing the last one, or the back one here. Just tell you right now, way harder than the front one by every measure of intensity, I guess. We want to put everything, attach everything, put it back on, so we could start reassembling the engine. So, yeah. So here's the new intake gasket I'm putting on. So first of all, you look at this gasket. It has like loose little stuff on it, like little loose flaking places. Make sure you clean all that off. So after you clean all those crumbs off, you got your little side port here. You're gonna make sure you line that up, kind of like a puzzle. So you got the side port here. That is dirty as crap, but we're just going to undo bolts up. Alright, now it's time for the behemoth. The main star. Not really. Clean this up a little bit. Time to put this thing back on. Go out. When you tighten, we're going to go from the middle, spread out. Boom. Now I got the intake on. Yay! Hooray! Woo! I'm so glad you guys are excited. Alright, next what we got to do is throttle body. I'm thinking 1 second. Yeah, throttle body. So with the throttle body, going to have a paper gasket. A gasket made of paper. So like I said, there's 3 types of gaskets. We're going to have the rubber ones like we use for the valve cover, metal ones like we use for the intake, and then paper ones. Paper ones are my least favorite because they're annoying. Let me tell you why. So if you were to look, right, and you open here, see all this like residue? This right here is the paper gasket. You got to break that off. And that part's going to be fun. And yes, for anyone's wondering, I am saying that with such sarcasm. It's a paper type gasket, which is not my favorite. Also, if you don't have a razor blade, good luck trying to get that gasket off to begin with. Two nuts on the top, two screws on the bottom. That is on there. Yeah. So that right there is on there. So the air hose, here's the old one. Got a tear right there. Obviously it's been taped there. Not really in the best shape of its life, it's seen better. So we're going to take the air reservoir off real quick. It's going to be done with a simple 10mm. I'm just gonna, let me tighten it down. Gonna loosen this clamp up. This part should come wiggling out just like that. So you want to keep this, and I guess the hose clamp too. There's a spring in here. Let me get that spring out. Getting a flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to pull it out. Okay, that just hurt. So actually apparently unclips like that. Has a little clip to clip it on. Now we're going to, I tried to like loosen it but it didn't work. So now we just wrap it around this little alleyway and we gotta somehow get them to connect. Alright, so I'm using my flathead screwdriver. I would show you guys, but I'm fighting for my life currently. Oh. Oh gosh. So yeah, I got it perfectly fine. Super easy, wasn't even a struggle. Had to fight for my life a bit, but I was just thinking it was because I was so excited. Next, get our air duct thing. Stick it in there. So after working on it for a while, I finally got it. Already don't believe that this thing's gonna fall off, but now it's on there tight with the hose clamp. Now it's time to struggle some more by putting it back in the car. Alright, so air hose here was super warped. I guess it's been out in the sun for a little too long, or it got heat, or whatever the case might be. It was warped, so none of the circles were perfect circles. So when it came time to putting this thing on, where they had to be perfect circle, they weren't doing it. So have it on there now. I think that's everything. Keep the filter. Next, make sure you get your air box. Boom. Airbox on there. Every fight on this thing, it's a battle. Next, you're going to put the negative battery terminal back on. So before I put the covers on, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on. We'll let it run. I'm going to look around to see if I can see anything that's leaking. If it's leaking, obviously I didn't do a good job. But we're about to find out, so here we go. Everything on the inside looks good. Make sure you're looking around the valve cover gasket. None leaking. Yeah, sounds good. Alright, so it's time to put the covers back on. So, just like how they came off. Got this weird zigzaggy one right there. Oh, there we go. This one goes right there. This one right here got one of these tabs, so make sure you line it right. There's an ant on my camera. Boom. And next, it's the one that we're proud to show, our Honda 3.0 VTEC motor, baby. Boom. Alright, sweet. That's job well done. Everyone seems is running, driving good. Thank you a lot for staying tuned with this video. I have no idea how long this video is going to become. Been on here since about 1:32 and it's already 6:30. So it's obviously took me some time, but thank you guys. Always appreciate you guys sticking around, watching to the end. If you guys have any ideas for next video, let me know. And see you then.